All right, all right. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again. We got ourselves the next episode of the Game Changers and Devilmons little mini episode series that we're doing within our critical thinking world. Again, if you all are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. We just did two episodes on the water and wind elements, and now we're finishing off here with a fire element. This is definitely going to be my favorite one to talk about because, as you guys have seen in the previous ones, my goal is to enlighten you on some of the units out there that I consider really nice units or game changers, depending on where you're at in your progression. Okay, just talking about the NAT4 units, but the cool thing about the fire-based units is that the majority of the units out there that I consider game-changing units, and I think a lot of people do, is actually going to be kind of a how do I say? You're going to be saving Devilmon because once you realize what they bring to the table and what you're really looking for, you don't have to invest the Devilmon in. So let's take a look at these units out there. Again, I got about 3 or 4 units out there that I would consider game changers, and I'm going to have a couple of units that I just want to go ahead and do like a little honorable mention because I think they can provide value for you depending on where you're at. So, disclaimer, okay, if y'all didn't see it on the first 2 videos, I had little annotations all over the place. This is all based on my knowledge and experience as well as the experience of people that I theory craft for over a year now. Is this the end all be all? No. Am I Jesus? No. Okay. This is just putting it out there to try to help you guys. I know that I've been doing a lot of mid to late game stuff, but I feel like I got to incorporate some of the things that allow me to grow my channel, critical thinking, talking about various aspects of PvP, PvE. So I want to kind of get back into the mix with this, and so I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, first off, let's talk about the one of the 4 units out that I'm going to consider game changers, and you guys already know which ones it is. This is the King of King, the Game Changers of Game Changers, okay? Verdehile is a French word that means game changer, okay? Game changer, okay? Without a doubt, a very unique kit on that 3rd slot there, having the ability to provide attack bar increase by 20% when you critically hit. And when you have a unit that's first attack, its auto attack is a unit that hits 2 times, we're talking about a 40% increase across the board for your team, assuming that you have them at 100% critical rate. So as you guys already can guess, okay, this game has all been revolved around, speed. We've been talking about speed since the beginning of time, how speed is king. I mean, even from the beginning of the game, if you've seen some of the YouTubers and streamers out there that have put out some videos talking about different stages of progression and where you should get at, we talked about Swift, the importance of Swift, moving into Giant Speed 10, and just making your team more efficient, so to speak. And of course, when it comes to Swift, we talk about Violent and so on and so forth. But then even in between having these types of speed manipulation kind of things, we have to consider the value of attack bar manipulation. And when it comes to attack bar manipulation, he is the champ. He is the king of kings. So without a doubt, this is a great unit. But here's the cool thing about this, guys, which is why I want to mention this. This falls into that category of units that doesn't require Devilmons because this is a passive that you get right when you awaken him. Okay, the passive, the value of the unit comes from the passive and not from maxing out the skills. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a support based unit, so it should be focused around the passive thing. But if you are way down the road, end stages of the game, and you got runes with substats beyond substats, and you have the ability to get 99 to 100% crit rate without going critical rate on the 4 slot, then yes, you could find value in putting some Devilmons or putting your fodder into it, because you have the ability to go with a crit damage on 4 versus a crit rate and allow you to get some more damage, get some more bang for your buck. Still provide the support that you need from having the high critical rate, but then you can go critical damage. But again, for 99% of the people that are watching this video, they're going to be using it for support. So don't need to use Devilmons. Save your Devilmons for something else unless you get a second Verdehile and you want to build them in like a PvP setting where you want to give them a little attack crit damage attack or speed crit damage attack with 99, with a high amount of critical rate to get value out of his passive. So really unique unit. Don't put any Devilmon in unless you got a second one you want to play around with him for PvP style. Okay, next one up. This is speaking about attack bar manipulation, we got to throw this one next up. Wow, I had a little flashback, guys. Talking about the critical thinking series, I want to say I had like a little mini series called Dungeon Optimization, or I think we were talking about attack bar manipulation. It was like episode 3 or 4. So for those who've been watching this channel since the beginning of the time, you know, October 2014, I was talking about it then, and I'm still talking about it now. The value of attack bar manipulation when it comes to the PvE world, you know, the dungeons, the TOA bosses and whatnot. You guys know that we cannot stun you know, bosses and whatnot, but we can manipulate the attack bar. So essentially, if you got a boss that's sitting there with 75, 80, 85% attack bar, and you basically, you know, manipulate it to where it goes down to 0, I mean, that's essentially a stun, right? It's not technically a stun, but we basically take away his ability to use his turn when it was supposed to be, resetting his attack bar. So he has to wait a full turn to be able to use it, which is what would happen if you stun the unit and he started over his attack bar and then moved forward. So this is a great kit for this unit. Having the ability to have a critical hit. You got the attack bar manipulation that we're talking about, and then the Phoenix Fury that allows you to put continuous damage effects for 3 turns, 2 of them in an AoE format. So really unique. And then of course, if that wasn't enough, we got ourselves a universal leader skill ability, which, as we already know, is really good. No matter where you use it, always can use a little bit more speed. So again, guys, this is a great game changer. But do we use Devilmon? No, we don't need to use Devilmon. Why is that the case? Because CompTOS was nice enough to provide us a way of making free skill ups, right, by using the fusion hexagram. So the fusion hexagram, as you guys know, you can make the Baretta, okay, and so you can get not just, you know, fodder for the fire self, but any self you have. And so this is, again, a time taker. You know, if you have the time, the patience, I would definitely recommend it. Do you need a, you know, max them out all the way? I think that I would prefer to have it maxed out, just because I personally use a CC based team for my TOA hard. Certain levels, I take 3 AoE CC based units and rotate their skills. So because I rotate their skills, I need to make sure that their skills are maxed and have the lowest cooldown possible, so that when I need that AoE the most, or when I need this second skill with the attack bar manipulation the most, it's there and it's ready as a backup, as an emergency source. So it is nice to have them skill up. Now, when you get into the beginning, early stages of the game, you're going to be okay with it. You know, you don't have to have it maxed out, you know, right away. But just understand that if you do, you know, do some summons and you get some extra skill ups, you will find value in maxing the second and third skill up, because having the cooldown reductions paired with whatever you're using, you got units out there that reduce the cooldown times. You got units out there that reset cooldown times. There's many things that will allow you to get more turns. One of the more popular units people are using out there is Mav for the TOA. So combining that unit, reducing cooldown times and whatnot, is even going to make it easier. So whether you invest in Devilmon or use them in combination with another unit, it's all good. But just understand that this is a valuable unit. This is something you're going to 6-star in the future. So if you invest in it, don't sweat it. Boom. Okay, here we go. Next one up. Ooh, this is one of my favorite units of all time. We got Miss Hua in the mix. Okay. This is a badass B right here, okay? You know what I'm saying? This is something else, okay? So this is one of my favorite units. When I was in that arena grinding episode 50s to 100, I really started to you know, invest some of my best units and runes on this particular unit. I was busting out a nice setup, a swift focus kind of a setup, speed attack, getting her with, you know, high critical rate, high attack power, and over 220 speed. She's a hard hitter, right? And so it's really unique. It's really nice to do. But of course, the value, again, doesn't come from just the damage that she can put out, but more so the passive that she brings to the table. So you haven't seen this unit. Burning Whip decreases the enemy's attack bar by 25%, and then strikes again with a 20% chance. Okay, really unique. So we just got done talking about all these attack bar manipulators. Here's one that's going to decrease the attack bar versus like increase it, like a Verdehile or whatnot. So why is this good? Same thing as I was saying for Baretta or whatever. You can manipulate the boss. You can manipulate TOA bosses. You can manipulate the dungeon boss. You can pretty much manipulate anything. There isn't anything that you cannot manipulate. That's the cool thing about this particular unit, with the exception of Necropolis, and they got the shields. But you guys know what I mean. For the main zones, giants, dragons, you know, whatever you decide to use it on TOA, it's going to be good. A lot of people use it for many things, and so this is a valuable unit. Okay, so here's the thing though. This is one of those that I would, again, go back and forth. I would think about what I'm going to do with regards to the Devilmon. I might sit there and wait months on end if I summon the fodder to use them as a skill up versus put in Devilmon. Let me tell you why. because again, the value doesn't come from the Devilmons that are invested into her. The value comes from her passive, which is already given to you when you get this unit. You don't. I don't even know if you have to even awaken it. I have to check it here. Yeah, the awakening, you just get the accuracy. You already have this when you get the unit. Okay, this is huge. So not only do you have the ability to reduce the attack bar by 25%, but the additional turn for 20% chance. The value comes from the passive, and then you get even more value when you are able to get high quality runes that can replace your OP Swift set. Now, I'm not talking about slapping on a violent set because you just got this first set of violent set that are 3-star runes, this or that, whatever. You're replacing 6-star Swift runes. No. We're talking about switching over from a high quality Swift set to a high quality violence. Why is that the case? Because if you have the opportunity to get additional turns, we have the opportunity to reduce the attack bar even more. Extremely overpowered. Extremely overpowered. It's used for so many things you guys don't even know. And then again, additional turns, each turn getting the 20% chance to attack again and manipulate it. So you can see right away the value of this unit, what it can bring to the table, not just in the PvP setting, if you're playing around with attack bar manipulators trying to get that first turn, but the PvE setting, it's without a doubt one of the top units out there. So again, an amazing unit. Save the Devilmons unless you're gonna use it, max them out, and you want to get value in it. I do see people putting a little bit of effort into this unit in the end game. Why? Because once you get yourself set up with the units of runes, okay, there's only one thing else you can do, and that's invest in the skill ups or whatnot, making it stronger. And so if you guys have seen my rifting videos, R5, I use 2 different DPSers. One is Hua and one is Sella. Both are attack bar manipulators and both are damage dealers. For my team. Everybody else is a support-based unit. So even though I have Scylla set up as support, Hua is kind of pretty much my big damage dealer. Even both of them are do damage. Hua is the one that's going to shine. Okay, so if for me, if I had the opportunity to, sure, I would try to max it out or whatnot. Because even though we can improve the speed, the percentage of which this attack speed goes off. I basically just want her to hit harder. Okay, there is value in getting this maxed out. The continuous damage for me, I use it all over the place, but more so the rifting anywhere now. I'm not going to get any value out of getting this continuous damage one all worked up, to max out to reduce the skill because I can't put continuous damage on the rift boss. But because of the fact that it provides damage, enhanced damage when you skill it up, then yes, there is value in it. So again, guys, going back to what I was talking about at the beginning, any unit could be considered a game changer, or any unit could be, you could throw a reason out for skilling it up depending on what you need. If you're sitting there like myself, which is making Hua your sole primary damage dealer in a rifting group who is relying on you to get the job done, then you need to figure out what you can do to get that damage in. And if you only can do so many units of runes, then you got to figure out what's next. Okay, big unit. All right, next one up, we got to put it out there. Chloe. She was one of those units out there that when the game first came out, kind of got overshadowed by her inferior unit, Rena. Rena was OB status, everybody knows. Rena's coming back, maybe, I don't know where it is, but Chloe was one of those units that people didn't see the value of it till they started mixing it up, trying out different things. So, as you guys know, her skill's based on max HP. She got the heal for 25 to 50% for 2 allies, all right? And then we got the Fanatic, okay, the bread and butter of this unit, being able to provide the invincibility for 1 turn and immunity for 2nd turn. So if you have enough speed on this particular unit, you can sit there and basically prevent any and all damage and harmful effects on that first turn, right? So this is a great unit for you. And so why do I want to go ahead and mention this again? Because depending on where you're at in the game, right, you might find that the Chloe is the right unit you need to either prevent damage or prevent, some damage in PvP setting or PvE timing. Whatever you decide to do, it can be an extremely valuable. This Fanatic skill can come in a lot of value. And so I want to make it out there to let you guys know because, again, as this was in some other units that we've talked about, this is a 4-star unit, but its sisters, Rena and Michelle, are 3-star fighters. So don't invest Devilmons into this. Save your Devilmons for other units that we've already talked about and farm up, or basically summon just Renas and Michelles when you get them, and then you can invest it into her and just skill them up, okay? A lot of you people that have been waiting for Chloe's for years probably have about 17 Renas saved up, whatever, so it's not going to take you too long to get them. And again, it's kind of weird. I'm going to kind of tell you real quick about my experience with Chloe. Like most people, I really wanted Chloe. I thought she was going to be the end all be all, but as I've come to realize, just like the game goes, the game evolves, and when we evolve, we get into units, and when we get into units, we find new ways of being able to provide yourself with some of the things that some of these game-changing units, provide you. Like when we're talking about Fnatic, the Will Rune comes into play, so on and so forth. So even though you may not get this unit, there's still many ways to get around and try to get the job done when you're trying to do. That being said, I still feel that for the beginning to mid-stage people, or even end game PvP, depending on how you use your comp, it can be of value, so it's worth mentioning, okay? Those are the 4 units that I consider game changers when it comes to fire. The next 3 are controversial units, depending on where you're at in the game and if you can use it, okay? So next one up is kind of one of the newer units out there. I know this one's going to become as a shocker to people, because they're going to be like, I'm surprised that he's even mentioning this. But again, you gotta look at the unit in whole and see what it can provide. Okay, so when I'm talking about when I think about, like, when we think the word like the phrase the Swiss Army knife or whatnot, when it comes to units out there, that's the units that provides the best kit in the world, provides all the things we need. So like Vanessa is probably one of the best, one of the best units out there in the arena right now. Why is it so good? We got the speed leader on here, we got the defense break on her, and then we got a revive on her, right? And so she brings so many things to the table, or he brings so many things. She fail. Vanessa brings so many things to the table. Same thing with Platy. Okay, Platy, first skill, she's going to be providing beneficial effect removal with skills based on max HP. So with obviously a support based unit, you generally tank him up and whatnot. So even though you're not sitting there trying to go for damage, you do get a little bit of value, because they did make this skill based on max HP. They could have made it based on something else, but they're trying to make it an overall thing. Okay, damage is the last of it all, but I want to mention it too, because some people don't realize that, yeah, you do get a little bit extra damage on this particular unit. Okay, 50% chance to remove beneficial effects. OP. We got ourselves a heal. Okay, recovers a hit point and attack bar of the allied target by 30% each, right? But this can also revive. So not only do we got a heal, but we got a revive, and the reduction or the increase of the additional turns being added to the cooldown time will be used if it is a revive. So we're talking a heal, a revive, all in one skill, depending on what you need. Okay, so that is why this is a great unit. But not even to finish that out, we got ourselves another skill that's going to either stun the enemy and or prevent this prevent the enemy from using skills with the cooldown times for 2 turns. So you can stun and stop them from using skills for 2 turns. And when you stop a unit from being able to use skills for 2 turns, okay, that is strong. That kind of falls in line with that provoking ability, being able to provoke a unit to force them to attack the opponent that you had them provoke, to force them to use their first skill, and allow, take them away from using their second or third skill, which is what makes units, right? If you have the ability to prevent a Zyros from using his skills for 2 turns, that breaks Zyros, because that's what Zyros is all about. He's there to AoE and reset your skills, and if you prevent him from doing that, that is an amazing skill. So why do I find this a game changer? Depending on the composition that you bring, you can find value in this unit by, like I said, manipulating the unit via turn denial with the stuns, or skill denial with the cooldown time, stop or reduction or whatever for 2 turns. But again, not just being able to manipulate those 2, but you got the heal, you got the revive, and then you got beneficial effect removal. Okay, all is good, but again, you will not see this unit shine until you max it out. When you max it out, you increase the harmful effect rate of this first skill, you reduce the amount of times, the cooldown time on this particular skill, and then of course you reduce the cooldown time on the Burning Hearts as well. Okay, so again guys, there's a lot of units out there. This falls in this category of Stella, an amazing unit depending on where you use it at, but regardless of where you use it at, you have to max it to see the actual value of the unit. Okay, Platy, you all know what it is. All right, next one up, Lisa. Here we go. Lisa, Fire and Stone Agent, an amazing unit for rifting, one of the top cleansers out there in rifting. I'm a big fan of Kona. I think everybody should be when it comes to that being the #1 free-to-play kind of using. But you know what? If I had this particular unit, I definitely would, make some adjustments in my team to see what I can do to get her in, because I do find her a very valuable unit. Okay, let's take a look at her skill set. Glancing on the first attack, having a chance to hit 2 times and then provide that glancing hit. Again, something that people sometimes don't think about when bringing an arsenal of units with regards to harmful effects out there. They're focused on attack and defense break and hit point, disturb and slow. They're not really thinking about glancing, and glancing plays a vital role in this game. You got to think about it, okay? Second skill, being able to remove all beneficial effects, and if they have 2 or more beneficial effects removed, you improve the attack bar of the allies. So if you're using this in a PvP setting where you're going up against a Chloe that has a fanatic or whatnot, you're able to remove these effects. Not only do you remove the effects, but push your units bars forward. And if you have those units synced with regards to speed, then you're definitely going to get an edge on the opponent because you move first, get up in there, assuming that the other unit, the other team doesn't have their attack bars all the way up in max or whatnot. You get that jump, you get an opportunity to take your defense breakers, damage dealers right after her and get the job done, be able to knock the opponent out, get the advantage on a 4v3. Really nice skill set that people don't take advantage of. They're really focused on the rifting, but again, this is a really nice skill if you have the opportunity to use it in your composition, okay? Now, again, going back to the rifting world, being able to remove all harmful effects, okay? It's a cleanser, but then after that, it randomly attacks the target that you're doing with 3 people, okay? And so what this means is that depending on, what you're bringing to the table when it comes to rifting or when it comes to Guild Wars, you're going to allow all these units that are getting brought into the table to use their first skill. And some of those units are going to be bringing a defense break. Some of those units might even bring in a beneficial effect remover. They could be bringing anything. They could just be bringing raw damage, okay? I've seen Lisa's take that Roke and just rip it up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you'd be surprised as to what can happen when you grab these units, especially if you grab some of your damage dealers and just start going to town. When if you're playing around in Necro, this is not one of the units that people are like, oh, I gotta use it, whatnot. But it is a multi-hitter, and it does have a third skill that's gonna provide a lot of hits depending on what you're bringing. Right? If we're focused on Necropolis and we're bringing a multitude of multi-hitter things, you can imagine that even though this skill will not remove the shield that's on the Necropolis boss, this can provide a multitude of hits because they're using the first skill, which of course if you're talking about Necro, you're bringing a lot of people that are bringing the multi-hit skills, okay? That's just one bonus in Necro, but the value in rifting is going to come from is obviously going to come from the harmful effect remover, but the being able to attack them all. And the good thing about it is you're always focused on trying to get those debuffs to land. You want to hit them and whatnot, so that's why this unit is extremely valuable. But again, this falls on the in the group of the Platies, in the group of the Sellers, that you will not find value in this unit until you max it out, okay? That third skill that has a 6-turn cooldown gets down to 4, okay? 4 is a lot better than 6. Let me tell you something else. So an amazing unit out there. Tons and tons of people use it in the end game rifting world. One of the best cleansers out there that are not free to play. Obviously, I'd say the free to play best unit out there is Kona. But again, if you get this unit, you're definitely going to keep it. Definitely going to want to invest it when you're at that stage to invest it. Okay, just remember that you might have a lot of units that you're going to be looking at. So you got to figure out what's going to improve your game. What are your intentions as far as being able to improve your game at that specific point? And if that's Lisa, then yes, go ahead and invest into it. Okay. Last unit that I want to talk about. This one's gonna get the dislikes. This one's gonna get the dislikes. All right. So. All right, I want to mention it out today because I feel like there's something that we're missing. There's something that we're missing. Okay, so I'm gonna try my best not to go on a rant. Okay, watch out. Here it goes. Boom. There it is. Take a minute, soak it in. Okay, we got ourselves Trevor. Okay, so if you guys haven't seen this particular unit, let's take a look at it. First attack, hitting the enemy 2 times and providing the attack power buff. Okay. Second attack, adding the critical rate. So this unit is completely self-sufficient when it comes to buffs and being able to have attack power, critical rate, and then hits with a powerful strike, a very, very powerful strike to say the least. Okay, and then it got this very, very unique passive. When your HP decreases, your attack power increases, and the damage you receive will decrease. So, why do I call this a game changer, right? Again, this is in the realm of controversial game changer, so it's not like I'm saying, oh my god, you get Trevor's like a Zyra, start putting Devilmons. No, that's not the case. If you are, beginning to mid stages of the game and you pull a Trevor and you don't have a lot of other good units to do it, and you have yourself a collection of 6 or 7 Devilmons, then yeah, don't be afraid to invest in this, because if you do not have a single target fire-based kind of a nuker, then this is a great unit to use. I love its kit, okay? When you have the ability to do already an absurd amount of damage with his passive, but then have the ability to provide your own buffs and you're not relying on other units, that allows you to bring different units at a table, right? If you set up your team, most of us set up our Lucians, right, with a Megan or with a Seek or whatever. We're forced to bring some kind of buffing agent, right, so that we can get the max amount of damage. While this unit has its own his own like way of buffing, okay, and so we can take advantage of that. With this particular skill set, we can allow us to have some way of continuously providing some of those buffs with like a revenge proc, right? If we get a revenge set on him, we're gonna get ourselves the attack powers on our off turn, so that when we go again, we have that resetting attack power. I mean, there's many ways to go, but here's the deal. This is why I want to throw it out there on the game pews. Okay, we know that this unit has some really good damage multipliers, especially when he gets in the lower, 50 to 25% of his health. Okay, and when he gets there, his damage, defense kind of increases. The way how he mitigates is good. So here's the deal, though. When we build the unit Nuki, right? When we build a unit to do damage, they basically turn into a glass cannon. But this unit has a way of allowing us to kind of break the barrier on that kind of glass cannon-ish. So if we go full blown DPS, you've seen videos out there. This unit has hit for 60k, 70k, 75k. So here's a question that I asked you for all you Trevor's users out there. Do you need to spec any unit out there to do 75k damage right now? Don't worry, I gave you a minute. Okay, and for me, we can agree to disagree, but my answer is no. Okay, right? When I'm fighting people out there, I will never have any issues going up against anybody with more than 50k, and that's being soft. I mean, there might be some top end people on certain servers out there that got some 55k retest or something like that. This and that, whatever. The majority of the people that I'm fighting in the end game arena, okay, are gonna have anywhere from 15k on a glass cannon kind of unit to upwards of like 45k to some kind of attacky bruiser kind of a setup, whatnot, in that realm. So what we understand is that even though we can do an absurd amount of damage, we don't have to spec them full blown status. So why do I say that this could be a game changer? And I feel like people haven't really tested out their units and runes, or their runes mixing and matching. Is that I feel like if we can't, if this unit doesn't have the best defensive based attack or whatnot, or HP or whatnot, what can we do to mitigate some of that damage? We know that it slows down as his hit points go, so why not we play with some kind of a hybrid build, whether it's attack crit damage defense or attack crit damage HP. Play with some kind of hybrid build that gives him a little bit more tankiness, so that when the push comes to shove and you want to keep him alive a little bit more, you can keep him alive a little bit more, but you can still do the damage that needs to be due. Okay, we know that some of these units out there, you get a defense broken and it's going to get one shot, right? But like I said, I feel like people are not finding the right teams to use this with, to play around with it. And I mean, obviously, I don't necessarily have a Trevor. This is, again, based on my knowledge and experience, but other people that I talk with. I feel like this unit can be combined with so many things. We're talking about attack bar manipulators to give it more turns, like an Orion with its defense lead, if this guy's rocking some like attack crit damage defense, or combine this with the Molly that is going to reduce the amount of times that people can provide like a steady hit. That's going to increase the chances of them providing a glancing hit. And we understand that when people glance, the majority of the time, not every time, but the majority of the time, they will not land a defense break or this and whatever. They will not break the defense, so that allows you to mitigate even more. I think there's so many combinations out there that we haven't even touched, and because this unit has the ability to do an absurd amount of damage without too much effort, so to speak, because again, he has an attack buff, his crit rate buff, and he has that passive. I feel like we still haven't found that right combination of units. So again, guys, you're obviously going to hold on to this unit because it is a great unit out there if you need a fire-based nuker, sniper style unit. But again, I wanted to throw in that tidbit of units, runes, playing around with it and whatnot, because I'm really looking forward to seeing what some of the people out there that do have the time, the resources and whatnot to play around with the hybrid type of format setting. And I feel like when that gets figured out, when people find the right amount of defense and the right amount of attack power and speed, and the combination of their violent revenge set or vampire revenge set, or I like violent, but it can be something else. So again, guys, those are my list of units. The first four, Baretta, Verde, Hoa, and Chloe being the game changers, and the controversial ones, Platy, Lisa, and Trevor. can be game changers depending on where you're at in the progression. I feel like those are some of the better units in the natural 4-star realm, in the fire-based elements that can be really unique units. So I hope you take the time to look into them and possibly invest them in the future to accelerate your game. Because again, guys, all these units, I think Burke said it best, right, in one of my Educate Nominate videos. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's unit that means nothing to him can be a game changer for you. But again, it just depends on where you're at in the stage of the game. So that's why I put out all these little disclaimers, because I got to put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That is it, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you really like this series. I know I've not really had the opportunity to, keep the either critical thinking or educate and dominate consistent. We've had a lot of people cancel at the late minute, or people that are living in Australia. I've had one in New Zealand, Netherlands, or whatnot. We've had different places that we try to hook up, but our times don't work. And because now I'm watching my son full time until I go back to work, things are a little crazy. So hopefully things pick up for the better a little bit down the road, and we get those educate and dominate videos back on the road. But until that time, guys, I appreciate your support as always. Smash that like button if you like this series, and make sure you share it with your friends, family members, loved ones, all those people. All right, that is it. I am done. It's your boy Childish for ChildishPlays checking out. Take care. We'll see you next time, guys. We're out.